A tiny injured kitten ran through freezing streets, crying desperately until one man finally followed. In a dark alley, he discovered the kitten's mother suffocating inside a tightly knotted plastic bag, barely breathing. As he raced to save her, he had no idea this rescue would soon place all of them in terrifying danger. Before we begin, take 1 second and ask yourself this. How many lives pass us every day, quietly begging for help, hoping someone will notice before it's too late? If stories of compassion, courage, and unexpected heroes move your heart, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear is not just an animal rescue. It's a human one too. On a freezing winter morning in Bozeman, Montana, a small, trembling sound cut through the noise of traffic outside a grocery store. Most people ignored it. Some waved it away. But one man stopped, and that single pause would set off a chain of events no one could have predicted. This story isn't about a perfect hero. It's about fear, doubt, and the kind of bravery that shows up when there's no applause, no camera, and no guarantee of a happy ending. It's about a helpless animal leading a stranger into danger, and a rescue that uncovers a truth far darker than anyone expected. Stay with us until the end, because the twist in this story will challenge what you think you know about rescue, and who, in the end, is really being saved. If you believe every life matters, let's begin. The morning rush at Pine Ridge Market moved like clockwork, carts rattling, doors sliding open and shut, boots crunching over half-melted snow. No one noticed the sound at first. It was thin, desperate, almost lost in the wind. A faint cry. Then another. Evan Caldwell, a 34-year-old delivery coordinator, had just stepped outside for air when it hit him again. A sharp, pleading mewl that didn't belong to the cold. He froze. Around him, people passed by, eyes forward, shoulders hunched, pretending they didn't hear it. Someone muttered, "Strays again," and kept walking. Near the loading dock, a small gray and white kitten staggered into view. Its fur was dirty, one paw lifted awkwardly as if it hurt to step down. It wasn't running away, it was running toward him. The kitten stopped a few feet from Evan and cried again, louder this time, as if summoning the last of its strength. "Hey, easy, little guy," Evan said softly, kneeling. The kitten didn't retreat. Instead, it turned its head, glanced back toward the alley, then looked at him again, eyes wide, urgent, unblinking. Then it did something strange. It took a few steps away, stopped, and looked back, waiting. And somehow, Evan knew this wasn't about the kitten at all. Evan hesitated only a second before following. He told himself it was just curiosity, that he'd walk a few steps and turn back. But the kitten kept glancing over its shoulder, moving just far enough to make sure he stayed behind. Not fleeing. Guiding. The alley behind Pine Ridge Market was narrow and dark, lined with half-frozen trash bags and a chain-link fence crusted with ice. The smell hit him first, old food, damp cardboard, something sour beneath it all. The kitten slipped under a torn pallet, then stopped and cried again, louder now, almost panicked. Okay, I'm here," Evan whispered, crouching. That's when he saw it. A plastic grocery bag was wrapped tightly around a larger cat's head and neck, twisted and knotted as if caught during a frantic struggle. The cat lay on her side, chest barely moving, paws twitching weakly against the concrete. Her eyes were wide but unfocused, fogged with exhaustion and fear. "Oh no! No, Evan breathed. The kitten rushed to her mother, nudging her face, meowing over and over as if begging her to wake up. Evan's hands shook as he reached for the bag, careful not to tighten it further. The plastic crackled loudly in the silence. The mother cat gasped, one shallow, ragged breath. She didn't have much time. Evan's pulse thundered in his ears as he worked at the knot. His fingers were numb from the cold and slick with panic. The plastic bag was cinched tight, the handles twisted into a brutal seal. One wrong move could cut off what little air the cat still had. "Hang on," he whispered, though he wasn't sure who he was talking to, the mother, the kitten, or himself. He didn't have scissors. No knife. Just his hands and a growing sense of dread. Slowly, he loosened one handle, easing pressure without pulling. The cat's body shuddered, a weak rasp escaping her throat. The kitten pressed against her side, crying, tail puffed in fear. A door banged open at the end of the alley. A store employee stepped out, frowned, and waved his hand. "Hey, can't be back here. Take the cat and go." "She's dying," Evan snapped, not looking up. The man scoffed. "That's not our problem." Evan ignored him. With a final tug, the knot slipped free. He tore the bag away and tossed it aside. The mother cat sucked in air violently, coughing, claws scraping against the ground. Evan pulled off his jacket and wrapped it around her trembling body, shielding her from the wind. Her breathing was still shallow. This wasn't over. He scooped her up carefully, the kitten scrambling after him. "We're going," Evan said. "Right now." Evan didn't bother with the car. It was parked too far, and every second felt stolen. Instead, he ran, boots slipping on ice, breath burning in his lungs as he cradled the mother cat against his chest. She was frighteningly light. Too light. Her body trembled with each shallow breath. The kitten sprinted beside him, struggling to keep up, letting out sharp cries whenever Evan pulled too far ahead. Pedestrians stared. One woman gasped. Another shook his head like Evan was the problem. 2 blocks away, a glowing sign cut through the gray morning, Gallatin Valley Animal Emergency Clinic. "Please, please be open," Evan muttered. He burst through the doors, skidding on the tile floor. "I need help. She's not breathing right. She was trapped in a bag." The receptionist's expression changed instantly. "Treatment room now." A technician rushed forward, gently taking the cat from Evan's arms. The kitten tried to leap after her, hissing and crying. Evan scooped the tiny body up just in time. "She's barely ventilating," the vet said, already moving. "Possible hypoxia." They disappeared through swinging doors, leaving Evan alone with the kitten pressed against his chest, shaking as hard as he was. The silence hit him like a wall. Minutes passed. Each one stretched longer than the last. Evan stared at the doors, replaying the alley over and over, wondering if he'd been too slow or too late. The kitten finally stopped struggling and curled into Evan's jacket, exhausted. Its tiny chest rose and fell fast, like it was afraid to slow down. Evan sat rigid in the plastic chair, elbows on his knees, staring at the scuffed floor tiles as if they held answers. A vet tech returned briefly. "She's critical," she said gently. "We're intubating her now. Oxygen deprivation was severe." Evan swallowed hard. "Is she going to make it?" "We don't know yet," she admitted. "But you got her here in time for a chance." A chance. The words echoed louder than the clinic's machines humming behind the walls. As minutes dragged on, Evan noticed things he hadn't before. The security camera in the corner, the muted TV playing a morning news segment, the way the kitten's ears twitched at every passing footstep. It kept looking toward the treatment doors, mewing softly, as if calling its mother back. "I know," Evan whispered, stroking its head. "She's fighting." Finally, the doors opened. The veterinarian stepped out, pulling off her gloves. Her face was tired, but hopeful. "She's stable," she said. "Dehydrated, bruised, and terrified, but she's breathing on her own now." Evan exhaled for the first time since the alley. The kitten let out a small, hopeful cry. Neither of them knew it yet, but surviving the bag was only the beginning of this story. 2 days later, the clinic smelled of antiseptic and warm blankets instead of fear. The mother cat, now nicknamed Juniper by the staff, lay inside a recovery enclosure, her breathing steady but slow. A shaved patch on her neck marked where tubes and forelines had been. She was alive, but fragile. The kitten, whom Evan had started calling Sprig, refused to leave her side. The moment the staff allowed it, the tiny gray and white body squeezed through the enclosure door and curled against Juniper's chest. The mother cat lifted her head weakly, touching noses with her baby, releasing a soft, trembling purr. Evan stood nearby, watching the reunion with folded arms and red-rimmed eyes. He had visited every day since the rescue, bringing fresh towels and even skipping work shifts. The staff teased him gently, but they could see he wasn't just checking on animals. He was invested. "She'll need a quiet home while she heals," the veterinarian explained. "Street life again could kill her." Evan hesitated. His apartment was small. His schedule unpredictable. Responsibility wasn't something he rushed into. Yet when Sprig toddled toward him, climbing awkwardly onto his shoe, doubt wavered. "I can foster them," he said slowly. "Just until they're stronger." The vet smiled. "Sometimes temporary homes become permanent ones." Evan nodded, unaware that danger wasn't finished with Juniper, or with him. Juniper and Sprig had been in Evan's apartment for nearly a week when the first strange noise came. It was late evening, snow tapping lightly against the windows, while Juniper rested inside a cushioned laundry basket lined with blankets. Sprig chased a crumpled receipt across the floor, full of energy again. Then came the sound, metal scraping faintly against the back door. Evan froze, remote halfway to the table. The noise stopped. Silence swallowed the room. He told himself it was the wind shifting something outside. Montana winters were rough like that. But minutes later, it came again. Slower. Deliberate. Juniper's ears flattened instantly. A low warning growl rumbled from her chest, startling Evan. She struggled to stand, body still weak but protective instincts overpowering exhaustion. Sprig scampered behind her, fur puffed, tiny hiss escaping its throat. Evan approached the back hallway cautiously. The handle twitched. His heart slammed against his ribs. Someone was trying to open the door. He grabbed his phone, whispering to dispatch, "I think someone's breaking in. Please send an officer." The handle jerked violently. A shadow shifted through the frosted glass panel. Juniper dragged herself between Evan and the door, trembling but unyielding, teeth bared in silent defiance. Then the lock snapped loudly. The door burst open. The door slammed against the wall as a woman stumbled inside, snow swirling around her boots. Her hair was wild, eyes sharp with desperation and anger. She scanned the apartment until her gaze locked onto Juniper. "There you are," she hissed. Evan stepped forward. "You need to leave. Police are on the way." "She's mine," the woman snapped, pointing. "That cat belongs to me." Juniper shrank backward, pressing against Evan's leg, a terrified hiss breaking from her throat. Sprig darted under the couch, trembling. The woman lunged a step closer, her voice shaking with fury. "I've been looking everywhere for her." "You wrapped her in a plastic bag," Evan said, his voice low but steady. "She almost died." The woman's expression flickered, guilt, then anger again. "She ruined everything. She kept scratching, destroying my place, bringing fleas. I was just trying to scare her, make her stay outside." Evan stared in disbelief. "You suffocated her." Sirens wailed faintly in the distance, growing louder. The woman's composure cracked. She rushed forward, grabbing for Juniper. The cat shrieked, claws flashing as she scrambled behind Evan's legs. "Police!" a voice shouted from outside. The woman froze, panic replacing rage as red and blue lights flooded the snowy alley through the open door. Heavy boots pounded across the porch as two officers rushed inside. "Step away from the animal and put your hands where we can see them," one commanded. The woman's shoulders sagged, anger dissolving into defeat. She raised her hands slowly as the officers moved in, securing her wrists. "You don't understand," she muttered. "It was just a stupid cat." Juniper pressed closer to Evan, trembling violently. He crouched, one hand shielding her, the other gently steadying Sprig as the kitten peeked from beneath the couch. The officers escorted the woman toward the door while another took Evan's statement, carefully documenting every detail: the alley, the plastic bag, the attempted break-in. "Animal cruelty and unlawful entry," the officer said grimly. "You did the right thing calling." As the patrol car lights faded into the snowy night, the apartment felt suddenly quieter, safer. Juniper's growl softened into a faint, exhausted purr as she leaned into Evan's palm. Sprig climbed onto his lap, tiny claws kneading his sleeve like it was the most natural place in the world. The following days brought official reports, veterinary evaluations, and eventually legal protection preventing the woman from reclaiming the animals. Evan thought the hardest part was over. But real rescue, he was about to learn, wasn't about survival alone. It was about trust. And trust takes time to heal. Weeks passed, and winter slowly loosened its grip on Bozeman. Juniper regained her strength, her once dull coat growing thick and soft. Sprig transformed from a frightened, limping kitten into a playful blur of energy that ruled Evan's apartment like a tiny monarch. Yet the biggest change wasn't in them. It was in Evan. Before the rescue, his days blurred together. Work, sleep, repeat. Quiet. Predictable. Safe. Now, mornings began with Sprig batting at his alarm clock and Juniper greeting him with gentle head bumps. The apartment, once silent, pulsed with life. One evening, Evan sat on the floor assembling a small cat tree when Juniper climbed onto his lap. She studied him with calm, golden eyes, no fear left in them, then curled against his chest, purring deeply. Sprig leaped beside them, tumbling into the warmth without hesitation. Evan smiled, running his fingers through Juniper's fur. "You know, I thought I rescued you," he murmured. Juniper's purr deepened, steady and comforting, like she disagreed. Because somewhere between the alley and the courtroom, between fear and healing, Evan had found something he didn't know he'd lost: connection, purpose, and a family he never planned for. Sometimes rescue doesn't end when the danger stops. Sometimes, that's exactly where it begins. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to think about how close Juniper and Sprig came to never getting a second chance. Their survival happened because one person chose to stop, listen, and care when others walked away. Real rescue doesn't always require special training or perfect timing. Sometimes it just begins with compassion and the courage to act when something feels wrong. Across the world, thousands of animals are still waiting for someone to notice them. Some are trapped in dangerous environments. Others are abandoned, frightened, and silently suffering. Stories like this remind us that small actions, reporting abuse, supporting local shelters, fostering animals, or simply spreading awareness, can save lives in ways we may never fully understand. If you believe every animal deserves safety, love, and dignity, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Tales of Trust, and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful rescue story. Your support helps these stories reach more people and spreads awareness that truly saves lives. Also, share this video with someone who loves animals as much as you do. Together, we can build a community that stands up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Until the next story, stay compassionate, stay aware, and remember, heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they just choose to care.